Imagine a place on Earth where mercy does not exist, a land where the very air you breathe freezes and your tears turn to ice before they fall. In the far northeast of Russia stretches an immense region known as Yakutia, the coldest inhabited land on Earth. Yet, life here has never come to a halt. On the contrary, people live, laugh, learn, and celebrate, even as the cold surrounds them like an unbreakable wall. As you listen to this journey, tell us, from which country are you following us now, and what time is it for you? Write it in the comments, and let us begin together a journey to the heart of Yakutia, in the depths of eastern Siberia. Across vast stretches covering millions of square kilometers lies Yakutia, officially known as the Republic of Sakha. It is one of the largest regions in Russia, occupying nearly a fifth of the country's territory. Despite this immense size, its population numbers only a few million, scattered in small towns and remote villages, surrounded by silent wilderness and an unforgiving sky. Yakutia is not just a name on a map, it is its own world, full of strange contrasts. In the short summer, the land transforms into green plains and open meadows where the sun's heat can climb to 30 degrees Celsius. But in winter, the temperature drops to terrifying depths, and ice covers everything until the land becomes nothing but an endless expanse of white. The native people of Yakutia, the Sakha, have lived here for centuries, weaving their own culture and language. Their lives have long been tied to hunting, raising horses, and telling stories and legends around the fire during the endless nights. Over time, waves of Russians and others joined them, but the local character remained strong, as if this land itself taught newcomers to adapt to it instead of trying to change it. What makes Yakutia unique is not only its brutal cold, but also the treasures hidden deep beneath its frozen soil. It is among the richest regions in the world in diamonds, gold, and coal. In the 20th century, large-scale extraction began, and some towns grew into industrial centers. Yet most of the land remains empty, as if nature still keeps its secrets safe from human hands. From afar, Yakutia may look like a harsh and merciless land, but for those who live here, it carries a deeper meaning. It is not just a place to survive, but a daily test of strength and patience, a stage where endless human stories unfold. To understand the difficulty of life here, we must draw closer to its greatest secret, the unbearable cold. In this region, cold is not measured the way we know it elsewhere. Here, it goes beyond the limits of human imagination. In the small village of Oymyakon, known as the coldest inhabited place on Earth, a record was set in February 1933 when the temperature dropped to -71 degrees Celsius. This made the village legendary among climatologists, a symbol of how far nature's cruelty can go. Winter here does not end quickly. It begins early in October and refuses to leave before May. That means 8 months of continuous freezing. During this time, snow never melts, ice never softens, and even the air itself seems frozen. Opening a door is enough to let in a surge of frost that steals your breath in seconds. Modern machines do not work easily here. Car engines must be preheated for hours before they start. Some people leave their vehicles running all night to keep the fuel from freezing solid. Batteries fail, metals crack from the extreme cold, and asphalt roads split under constant pressure. Daily life becomes a chain of simple but difficult challenges. Washing clothes outdoors is impossible, as they freeze instantly into stiff blocks. Food needs no refrigerator. It is simply left outside, preserved by nature itself. Water is stored in ice blocks that are broken apart when needed, since underground pipes cannot survive such a climate. Yet, in the midst of this cruelty, people treat the cold as a natural part of life. Children go to school, their faces wrapped in scarves so the frost does not touch their skin. Farmers continue their work in forests and fields, while fishermen cut holes through frozen rivers to catch fish beneath the ice. Here, cold is not just weather. It is a force that shapes every detail of life. It lives in the houses, in the clothes, in the food, and even in the way people think. From birth, children grow up knowing that survival requires courage, patience, and acceptance of a climate that offers no mercy. With such relentless cold, people had no choice but to build houses like small fortresses, shelters strong enough to defend against the frost and give them a chance at life. No one can survive here without a home that shields against the freeze. Walls are not just barriers, they are armor that preserves existence. The cold is so powerful that the ground itself remains frozen year-round, a condition called permafrost. Because of this, foundations cannot be buried deep in the soil. Instead, houses are raised on wooden or metal stilts, preventing internal heat from melting the ice beneath and causing collapse. Wood is the most common building material, cut from nearby pine and birch forests. Thick logs are carefully stacked to block every draft. Brick or concrete houses are rare, as they crack quickly in this climate. Windows are small and double-glazed to keep every fragment of warmth inside. Inside, life feels completely different from the frozen world outside. A stove is present in nearly every room, fueled by wood or coal, spreading warmth that makes the home feel like another world. Furniture is simple, but arranged around the fire, where families gather together. Heavy curtains cover the windows, and sometimes walls are lined with fur or thick fabric for extra insulation. Not all homes are the same. In larger cities like Yakutsk, there are modern apartments built on raised foundations, connected to central heating plants powered by coal. In small villages, however, houses are more traditional, built by hand with whatever materials are available. In both cases, the house is the one true fortress against a merciless winter. Remarkably, some houses built over a century ago still stand today, a testament to the skill of local builders who understood the nature of their land. These are homes born of necessity, designed to endure. In Yakutia, a house is more than shelter. It is a symbol of safety and continuity. Each wall carries the story of a family that resisted the frost, and every hearth once gave warmth to generations. Yet even the strongest house cannot protect the body without food. In Yakutia, food is not luxury, it is survival. The brutal cold drains energy quickly, so people need meals rich in fat and protein to give them strength and warmth. One of the most traditional dishes is horse meat, eaten raw after being cut into thin frozen slices, known locally as stroganina. The meat is served like pieces of ice, eaten with salt or onion. Though unusual to outsiders, for the locals it is a daily food that gives inner heat to fight the frost. Fish is another essential. Caught from the great rivers, they are left in the open air to freeze solid. Later, they are cut into small crystal-like pieces before being eaten. Despite its simple form, this food is highly nutritious, helping people withstand temperatures of -60°C. Soups hold a special place at the table, made by boiling meat or fish with potatoes, carrots, and onions. Sometimes grains like barley or buckwheat, grown in the short summer, are added. Soup is not just for special occasions, but cooked daily, for nothing warms the body like a steaming bowl filling the room with its aroma. Hot drinks are just as important. Black tea is a constant companion, brewed strong by boiling several times, sometimes mixed with milk or local herbs. Another traditional drink is made by fermenting mare's milk, usually enjoyed in summer. Desserts are simple, often made from cranberries or local honey, and offered during holidays or when guests arrive. Food here is more than nourishment. It is part of the human struggle with nature. Every bite is a piece of survival, every meal a small victory in a long battle with the frost. But survival depends not only on food. People also need ways to travel across the frozen wilderness, and here begins another chapter of life. Transportation. Travel in Yakutia is not just movement from one place to another. It is an adventure full of risk. The land itself changes with every season. In the short summer, snow melts and floods the roads, turning villages into islands trapped by swamps. In the long winter, however, everything freezes solid, and the ice itself becomes a road for cars and sledges. The great rivers, such as the Lena, one of Russia's longest, freeze completely in winter. When they do, they transform into natural highways connecting villages. Wooden markers are placed along the frozen river to guide travelers across the endless white, as old cars and horse-drawn sledges glide over thick ice capable of carrying tons. Yet danger is always present. The ice can suddenly crack if a warm spell arrives, and cars can fail in the middle of nowhere if a battery dies. For this reason, no one travels without preparation. People always carry extra fuel, frozen food, and spare fur coats, knowing that even a short trip could turn into a survival test if something goes wrong. Small airplanes also play a vital role, since some villages are so remote that no road ever reaches them. These planes land on temporary snow runways or simple cleared strips of land. In emergencies, a sudden illness or shortage of supplies, they are the only lifeline. Transport is not only for people, but for trade. Diamond and gold mines need to ship their output, and markets rely on goods brought from larger cities. Every journey carries both worry and hope, for survival in Yakutia depends on the ability to overcome both distance and cold. Here, travel is not luxury or tourism, it is daily necessity, proof of the people's determination to remain connected despite nature's cruelty. Each journey is a small chapter in a larger story of endurance written on the ice of this land. And so, despite the difficult roads and exhausting journeys, daily life does not stop. People in Yakutia fill their days with work, learning, and simple joys. Life here is not just a series of survival trials, it is also a mix of routine, effort, and moments of celebration. With the faint sunrise of winter, children prepare for school. They wrap scarves tightly around their faces so the frost cannot touch their skin, then walk in small groups across snowy paths, leaving winding trails of footprints in the white. At school, they find warm classrooms filled with the smell of burning wood. Teachers begin lessons as if the conditions were completely normal, reading from books, writing on the board, giving the children a sense that education is stronger than the cold. Adults, too, each have a role in this harsh life. Many men work as hunters, venturing into snow-covered forests or frozen rivers, cutting holes through the ice to fish. Others earn their living in the mines, extracting coal and diamonds from the depths of the earth. The work is difficult and dangerous, but it provides daily bread and ties people to the wealth of their land. Women play an equally vital role. They keep the homes warm, care for children, and prepare food that gives families the strength to endure the frost. In the short summer, they tend small gardens around their houses, harvesting potatoes, carrots, and onions, storing them carefully as winter provisions. But even amid all this effort, there is time for joy. During festivals and special occasions, people gather in open squares dressed in colorful traditional clothes. Folk music fills the air, old dances are performed in steady rhythms, and drums echo with beats that remind everyone of their roots. Children run through the crowds, elders sit by fires sharing stories, and women distribute simple sweets. Even on the coldest nights, people find ways to create happiness. Some gather in homes to drink hot tea and sing traditional songs, while others sit quietly around the stove, sharing stories of days gone by and dreams of days ahead. Life here is a balance, between fatigue and rest, between frost and warmth, between the harshness of nature and the kindness of the human spirit. As the days pass, night remains the ruler of this land. Long nights swallow up time itself. In December, January, and February, the sun may rise for only a few short hours, sometimes only as a faint glow on the horizon, before disappearing again. This endless darkness changes the rhythm of life. People follow the clock rather than the sun, starting work in the morning even though the sky looks like midnight. Night here is not just silence. It is a canvas where the sky constantly changes. Many nights are lit by the northern lights, curtains of color dancing above the snowy expanse. These moments fill people with awe and beauty. Families sometimes go out just to watch, standing wrapped in fur beneath the freezing air, gazing upward as though attending a performance only the Arctic can offer. But the long darkness also weighs on body and soul. Many feel drained by the absence of light, so they brighten their homes with lamps, fill their rooms with warm colors, and dress in cheerful fabrics. Children play indoors more than outside, while family activities become the cure for boredom. Reading books, listening to local music, or simply talking by the fire are all ways to lighten the burden of the endless night. Yet for the people of Yakutia, this darkness also carries a gift. In its silence they find time for reflection, for thought, and for feeling close to nature. The long night becomes a special season, one in which stories are woven far from the glow of big cities. And so, despite the endless darkness and relentless frost, human beings stand firm, enduring the harshest of conditions to continue their story. In Yakutia, strength is not measured by muscles alone, but by the ability to persist, day after day, against the weight of nature. Here, children learn from an early age that life is a quiet struggle with cold and darkness, and that each passing day is proof of patience and determination. Education is a living example of this resilience. In cities like Yakutsk, the regional capital, children still go to school even when the temperature drops to -50°C. Teachers continue their lessons as if nothing were unusual, reading books in classrooms warmed by stoves. Education here is not a luxury, but a declaration. Healthcare is another challenge. Hospitals remain open even during the most brutal days, and doctors work under conditions that would overwhelm entire nations. Medical supplies arrive by small planes or caravans that cross the frozen land. Even performing a simple surgery here is considered a heroic achievement. Yet it happens regularly, because the people refuse to abandon their land, no matter the cost. Technology, too, has found its way into their lives. Despite isolation, the internet has reached many villages, connecting young people to the outside world from inside their wooden homes buried in frost. But this modern link has not erased old traditions. Instead, it blends with them, as if past and present live side by side. What sets the people of Yakutia apart is their view of their homeland. They do not see it as a frozen hell, but as a place worth defending. The stories of ancestors, the songs sung during long nights, and the collective spirit of survival all reinforce the belief that resilience is not an individual choice, but a shared responsibility. These people have proven that humanity can adapt to the harshest environments and that life is possible even in the coldest inhabited place on Earth. They are a living image of human willpower, a symbol of our ability to endure no matter the challenge. So when we look at Yakutia, we see more than a frozen land at the edge of the north. We see the story of people who face the impossible and still find life and meaning in the heart of the cold. In every home where a fire burns, in every child walking to school through the snow, in every fisherman cutting through frozen rivers, their resilience shines. Yakutia is not just a place on the map. It is proof that the human spirit can glow even in the longest night and on the coldest ground.